As some of you know, I am prepping a lot for Germany. We are the crew, and one of the main things that I have to do is pay attention to audio. You're not getting the best audio experience being in a car like this and having it attached to the iPhone. But what solution I have come up with that we're going to be testing out today, because I have to do a lot of different solutions for what I've got planned. I'm using the Rode mic with the video mic, and I'm going to show you that. So this is the little setup that I've got on here. Basically just taking the little Rode mic at this point and plugging that directly into the Rode wireless. The little handle, which I got years ago, works really well for this. I can do this handheld. We have an accompanying Rode receiver that'll be plugged in directly to the audio input. And again, this is a test, so I need to make sure that this will work for some of the shots that I have planned. So we're going to be shooting with that this morning. I want to see how well it picks up. That mic is a pretty good mic. It's not a shotgun mic, but it does a fairly good job. It's actually clear across the spectrum. It's not heavy on the high end, and it's not blasting us out on the bass. It's an underrated mic, I think, in that it's really cheap and it's so small and doesn't require its own power source, which is really key to what we're doing, because on the flight over between Ulm and Ninja, because they're coming over too, I don't want to load everybody down with a bunch of equipment, and I certainly don't want to chance, the more equipment you bring, the greater chance there is of just, having it stolen or having it, lost, and keeping track of it all. I don't want to bring the big Zoom recorder, so I've got another one, a Tascam, coming in tomorrow, and that's a 4-track recorder. I think it's the DR40X, and we'll be testing a lot with that as well, because that's something that I can put handheld, and that's also something I can just attach right to the the NTG2. So there's a lot of planning ahead of time, and if you saw my bed this morning, it was just littered with microphones and batteries, lenses, everything else. These next few weeks are basically going to be nothing but testing the hell out of things to make sure we have something reliable and durable for what we need, and something that we can switch out fast on the fly, because anybody who does any type of guerrilla shooting and will be in one of the older parts of the city, a lot of things happen on the fly that we just can't prepare for, so we have to be able to move quickly from one scene to the next with different setups as far as lighting and as far as our audio. What's the minimum I can bring and still have the highest quality possible? That's always the thing we strive for. Don't tap. Here we go. Now we're going to change this. So, nice thing about that ND filter is we can change this where we need. From her elbow, down through here, and then you're gonna sync it at the level of her head, and you might have to come back out a bit. Let me just switch this to 4K. We're working to see how that little mic works here on this, how close I can be to still get some good sound. And so the scene itself doesn't really matter, but it kind of does, but we won't go into why. But if you hold that blur, so we're gonna run this at about 1.8. So this is going to be tight on the shot. You want to hold up the card again for the exposure. So that's at 3200. Let's pop this to 400 and bring this back up. I'm going from, on that card, it was a little darker than 18% gray, where we go from this, which is darker on the histogram. I pull this up to pink, and then there's max pink. So we go above the pink, and then we start dropping down. that helps set the exposure where I need for color correction later. And you can see the scene is nice and exposed properly. And then we have a tight 1.8, so there's going to be a lot of blur. And the reason for that is because the scene will call for it. So we're going to shoot at Q0, so it means we can't waste a lot of the shots for hard drive space and for everything else. See how you, yeah, it's got some weight. So the ND filter, so we'll look up, if you come over for a second. So we're running with the 25 millimeter, which gives me a 1.7 on the aperture, and then we have the step-up rings up to the Magic SLR and variable ND filter, which works really well. Doing anything to get the shot.
Exactly. Like Peter Parker.
We're going to travel like down here. We're going to go up the arm and come through here and pull back. You can just be going and doing those type of sounds, so I can get this and test this mic for that. And again, I have to be out of frame, so you let me know where I am. I know that's tight on there, so. Yeah, I don't. Okay. Plan how you have to be standing or sitting to make the movements where you're not having to do any big jolting and jerking and all that sort of thing. And action. Normally we do this on a boom mic, and we'll have that option. Right now I'm just doing a handheld just so we can play with this. Yep.
Rolling.
And action. Yeah, I think that close-up, closer is even better. And so what I'm going to have to end up doing is pulling back. So I'm in right about, you want to give me a focus card on that. Get this in sharp. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we need to make sure we are in focus. Okay, that should work. Please put it in there, and then we'll just record it. We are rolling.
This is the worst.
Okay, so we're going to need a little bit of maximum shake on this one.
Oh, no problem. No.
All right. We got what we needed, and again, it was mostly for the audio test, so it's not big on what we were actually shooting. The nice thing about this is that we press that trigger and hold, and we can actually move that to an underslung mode really easily, and it floats and does exactly what we need. Press that again and we can bring it back up to whatever level I need, which is really helpful in cases like this where we have to get down underneath there. I'm shooting it on about a 25 power, or 25 rate, so that its speed is about 25. And I've found that that works really well, especially for action scenes and things like that, where the camera motion doesn't have to be whip pan Okay, but that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't to help grow the channel, and stay tuned because we'll keep giving you progress updates on working this for our Germany trip. Thank you.